Stormrunner is an intimate accelerated coaster located at Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Today I will be talking about why this is my favorite coaster at Hershey Park and why this is a top 10 coaster for me. So Stormrunner is an absolutely incredible coaster. It's very smooth, the launch is amazing, and has some pretty unique elements. The inversions are very different compared to some other inversions on many other coasters. The launch is actually one of my favorite launches on any coasters I've ridden. Maybe even my favorite launch, I'm not sure. It's either this or Kingda Ka that has my favorite launch. Kingda Ka's launch is crazy in the front row. But in any row on Stormrunner, it's crazy. So I think I might prefer Stormrunner's launch over Kingda Ka's launch. I don't know. Now, the inversions on this ride are really cool, especially the one inversion in front of the Hershey Triple Tower. I forgot what it's called, this inversion. That is crazy, especially when it whips down that drop right there, because you just get whipped down that, especially if you're in the back row. Like, it twists and then you just get absolutely whipped down the drop. So that's probably my favorite part of the ride, that and the launch. The snake dive, or I don't even know, I know it's called the snake dive, I believe, is actually a really, really cool element. You get some good hang time on the top of it, and just like on the barrel wheel type section, I really don't know what it's called, but we're just going to call it the barrel wheel section. It also whips in the back row. Same thing goes for the Intelman. The top hat's really good on this ride. I do prefer Kingda Ka's top hat, but it's still really good. And the drop on Stormrunner, I don't know which drop I prefer, Kingda Ka or this one's, but it's still really good. Kingda Ka and this are literally right next to each other. I have a hard time every year deciding which one is better, this or Kingda Ka. Usually I prefer Kingda Ka over it, but it's always hard to decide. This is just an absolutely outstanding coaster. This is actually my favorite coaster at Hershey Park. Yes, it's in front of Skyrush. Skyrush is actually my third favorite coaster in the park, and I'll tell you why right now. I've just always been a big fan of launch coasters, and this one is just definitely one of my favorite coasters I've ridden ever since. First time I rode this was actually my number one coaster. So it's always had a really big spot in my heart. I think it's just an amazing coaster. It's silky smooth. There's no rattle. It's very whippy at some points of the ride. Just that final turn actually is really whippy. Like after the barrel wheel type inversion, that one turn is really whippy. And this is just a really fun coaster. I mean, the inversions are great. The launch is awesome. The drop is actually pretty good. And the restraints on this thing are not the hard Intamin plastic restraints. They are the Intamin vest restraints. So they are much, much more comfortable than many of the other restraints. Like on Kingda Ka, those restraints aren't that great. Hopefully they'll add vests to those. But Stormrunner's restraints are awesome. They're really comfortable. They don't cause any headbanging. And it's just definitely a very smooth experience. Like, this is definitely one of the smoother, intimate accelerator coasters, and this is just like really good ride, very smooth, and yeah. So now let's take a ride on Stormrunner. So you exit at the station and go on the launch track. You then take off and go right up into a top hat. This is a pretty good top hat, which actually gives some pretty good airtime if you're in the back row. You then go down this awesome drop, which is really fun, and then go through the snake dive inversion. This inversion is very whippy, and it just whips you right through it. You then go through my favorite part of the ride, which is this barrel wheel type section. I don't even know what it's called, and you get absolutely whipped through that inversion. You get whipped through that turn, and then you hit a brake run. This is a very short ride, but it definitely packs a punch. I'll say that. It's very whippy, very intense. The launch is great, and it's super smooth. So that is why, without a doubt, I am giving Stormrunner a 10 out of 10. This is my favorite coaster at Hershey Park. It is just absolutely incredible. It is also my favorite coaster in Pennsylvania at the moment. It's just so good. It's just a really intense, really smooth. The launch is great. The inversions are great. Has some really good whippy moments. And it's just such an amazing coaster. And it's definitely one of the best intimate accelerator coasters out there. So yeah, give me your thoughts on Storm Rider in the comments below. And yeah, keep coasting on my coaster demons. Peace.